Hey snowmobilers, welcome to a how-to video. Today I'm with my 2002 Polaris and you're probably wondering why I'm on my knees. I've got a problem and I'm going to show you how to fix it right now. All right, so what is that problem? Here's what I have going on. The last time I rode this snowmobile, it made an awful noise. And this is why you go through the machine at the beginning of the season or even over the summer. You go through your snowmobiles because that's when you want to fix things. You don't want to fix things now. You want to be riding now. Okay, if there's snow on the ground, you want to be riding it, not fixing it. So I should have done this last summer and I didn't. And what I have discovered is that I've got some really bad bearings down here. I mean, they're all of the bearings are pretty bad. I've got 13 bearings that I have to replace today. I like doing projects that anybody can do with simple hand tools, and you don't need a lot of mechanical expertise. There's no ECU programming, there's no fuel injectors, there's none of that stuff on this snowmobile. This makes a really good candidate for a project like this. So the first thing we got to do is get that, I think what I got to do is get the rear suspension dropped down. To do that, I have to release the tension on the rear wheels. You know, I've got a video out there on how to tension and align your track, and that applies to this. Basically, we're just going to do the opposite. We're going to loosen the track back up so that I can drop it. This has got a weird set of extra idler wheels in it. So normally on almost every other snowmobile I've ever owned, every snowmobile I've ever owned, the skid, the rear skid or the rear suspension is bolted to the machine with 4 bolts. That's it. 4 bolts connect the rear suspension to the rest of the snowmobile. In this particular case, there's 6 bolts. Okay, there's an extra set of bolts. And so I've got to get those off. Now, what I typically do, and the other thing about this is that the newer snowmobiles have, where is that set of bolts? Here. So here's one set of bolts right here. Now, the newer snowmobiles, on this set of bolts, there's a nut on the back side of it. In this case, there's a shaft that runs all the way through it. That's how they used to do it. In this case, what's going to happen is when I loosen one of these bolts, the other bolt is going to start spinning. Okay, because there's a shaft in between, and theoretically anyway, there's grease in that shaft, and it should just spin. So what I typically try to do is use an impact wrench to get these out. It's not like it's that tight. You can get them out with a socket set. The problem is that you have to kind of work them together in order to get out. What I have to do is loosen one, then tighten it. Go to the other side, loosen that, and then usually I can get them both out that way. But otherwise, if you just get out, if you get one out and then you work on the other one, the shaft is going to spin. You're never going to get it undone. You're never going to get it unscrewed. So you have to do them kind of both simultaneously. That's how I've always done it. All right, so here's where I need to release the tension on this. So to do that, I've got a 9/16 inch wrench here. Loosen this up. So we're just going to back this all the way down. The other thing, if you watch my video on track tension, you know that I have to loosen up this bolt. So I'm going to do that in a second. All right, let's see if the other side will go. Break that loose. Okay. Yep, I don't see it turning. Okay, the other thing I need to do is get these back bolts. Okay, I've got quite a bit of, I've got this jacked way up here so that to give me lots of room. The only problem is the track is going to drop like a rock as soon as I as soon as I unscrew this, so okay, time to drop the rear suspension here, and let's just go for it. Okay, there's one bolt. Get the other one. All of these bearings are just toast. I've checked every one of them. They're all bad. It's terrible. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then the wheel comes off. Now this wheel, one time I went to a Polaris dealer and I said, I need a bearing. And he said, we don't just sell the bearing, you have to buy the whole wheel. How much is that? 50 bucks. So this wheel assembly here, 50 bucks. The bearing inside here, 4 bucks. Okay, now some of these wheels look pretty bad. This has got some cracks in it right here. These are going to start coming apart here. They're going to start delaminating on me. But the point is, I have to get this snowmobile back on the snow, and in order to do that, I just have to fix I tried to get some wheels I can't. So I'm going to have to put it back together with these wheels cracked like they are, but I'm going to have to fix the bearings. So now to get the bearing off, there's another snap ring here, and then the bearing will just come right out. So then I'll show you what to do next on that. Okay, so here's how I normally do this. You know what? Let's get a board here. Okay, so this is how I normally do this. I got different snap ring pliers. Hopefully this one will work. And there's a snap ring right here. So all we're going to do is get in there and peel this back. The problem is it's like you can't peel the whole thing back. So what I do is I got just a simple flat-bladed screwdriver. I start peeling it back and I find out which side is going to go first. And in this case, it's this side right here. And I just start working it around. There we go. There we go. And it hit me. Okay, so that snap ring is out. Now, this won't just come out. It's pressed in there. So what you got to do, another board here. What you got to do is get a hammer. And I have a nice little tiny ball peen hammer that'll fit in there. And you just give that a couple of whacks. And you can see it's coming out the other end. There you go. This is junk. This is a junk bearing, so that's all you got to do to that. Okay, so now I need to put the new bearing in there. I got a bunch of these from Dennis Kirk. And I believe, I don't remember if they were $4 or $6, something like that. Now, if I start hammering on this, it'll be fine. The problem is that, let me use a little bit heavier hammer here. This one isn't quite heavy enough. Okay, the problem is that if I start wailing on this inner race here, I could damage the ball bearings. So rather than do that, what I do is I hit the outside, the outer race. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to start tapping it in here. And it's not exactly warm, so it's not cooperating too well. But once I get it pretty well set like that, then what I did was this is an old hole saw that wore out. So I just shaved off the teeth, and so now I'm just banging on this outer race, and I'm not damaging the ball bearings at all. So you just make sure that it gets, and then, so what you need to do is there's a little groove in here. You want to make sure you can see the groove all the way around, and I can. So now the snap ring will go back in. I don't know why I can't find a decent snap ring pliers. All I got is junk. Okay, so now that's back in there, but it's not in there solid. So now what I do is I just give this a little tappy tap all the way around, just to make sure that it's seated in there. What you don't want to do is, so there's this rubber seal that goes around the bearing, and you don't want to damage that. So, but you do want to make sure that snap ring is in there. So let's see here. There you go. Good as new. So there's one wheel done. That's all you got to do. I just have to do it 13 times. All right, all the bearings are in. Now the hard part, getting this put back together. It's kind of involved. I'm lucky that it's kind of nice out today. It's not so brutally cold, but it's something that you can do outside if you have to. So, and that's kind of the purpose of this video. All right, as you can see, the snowmobile is on its side, and sometimes you need to do that in order to get these bolts to line up. Sometimes I'll use a ratchet strap, but a lot of times I'll just tip it on its side, and you can get it to line up a little bit better. Now the only thing I got left to do is get the tension right, and then also align it. And then I'm going to take it for a spin. Hopefully I fixed the problem. We'll see. Fixed it. Hey, thanks for watching. And I hope this helps a lot of you guys out there. Don't be afraid to work on these old snowmobiles and, have fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you on the trail.